It never gets easy. It never ever gets easy. I'm Steven Sulley. I'm the founder of Woodbury House Art Gallery in Mayfair. We represent historically important artists from the chosen genre of street art. I never had a plan getting into the art market. It was kind of right place, right time. I have been in sales for a number of years. In actual fact, I started sales when I was 20 years of age. And I was approached by a very large art dealer in 2014 who was almost quizzing me about my journey in sales and how we were raising money. And he said to me, do you think you could raise money for collectible investment grade art? And I said, well, I'm not too sure. I think I can. Why'd you ask? He said to me there was a documentary coming out. It was being bid on by Amazon Prime and Netflix. It was called Shadow Man. And he gave me the opportunity to watch some of this documentary, like the documentary trailer. The moment I watched it, I fell in love with the story. I was very compelled by the Richard Hamilton narrative, and I decided to step foot into the world of art. Fast forward the clocks, we've been around for 10 years now as a brand. We've got a 3,500 square foot venue here in Mayfair, in Sackville Street, and the journey has been nothing short but amazing. Tell yourself.
What's it on today then?
Oh, -2. No joke. I normally have it between 2 to 2.5. That's what I've had it on recently. I don't do very long though. The reason why I got into cold water therapy and then ended up investing into a brass monkey ice bath is because I think when you were younger, or certainly growing up and becoming a teenager and a younger man, I think it's quite common, well it certainly is in the conversations I've had, where people would always recommend do a cold shower. Didn't really understand the science, never really understood the logic behind it, but over time I just started to try and sort of test it out. When I'm in it for the first time, I'm staring at that clock, and it's just me against that clock, and I'm going for a minute normally with the when it's at 2.5 degrees. And I'm thinking I want to get in there, so I'm just staring at it. I think the reason why I like to submerge myself into cold water is for two main reasons. It's number one, the physical benefits, recovery, prolonging your life by using it, creating the lymphatic flush between the hot and the cold. I also have a sauna as well, so you get the two different elements, the hot and the cold. I think they really complement each other. I don't know all the science, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do, but the little bit I know from listening to people like David Esprit and Gary Brecker, etc., there's a lot of good benefits. Regardless whether you train, compete, you're in sports, or you're just a regular person, getting into ice, getting into cold water is really, really good for you. But then the other side of it is like the mental side of it. I have something called a power list, which I like to try and tick off each morning. Part of that power list is training, getting up early, listening to a podcast, listening to something positive. Think about it. If you're doing these elements before you start the day, you're getting ahead of the competition. You're getting ahead in comparison to other people in life and in your field. I think the biggest investment you can make in life is in yourself, as cliche as that may sound. And by doing a power list in the morning, that includes using an ice bath, I think you're head and shoulders above the rest. If you can win things like this, then just tease you up for the day. Like again, being human, I'm not this perfect person. I like to try and make out that every single day I'm doing this, and I do try to, and I'm in here probably 5 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week, but there's times where life doesn't allow you. And I tell you what, when I haven't done it, it plays on my bloody mind all day. It's almost like I've let myself down a bit. It's silly really, because 1 or 2 days here and there, but if I haven't trained, like even if I go do the training and then I do this, and then I have to rush out because I've got a meeting or something, but I haven't done my breathing techniques, I'm like, you let yourself down now. Or if I come in here and I just do a quick thing in here, and then I leave. I let myself down. I'm quite self-critical like that. Life and business, there's going to be ups and downs. It's never going to always be good, and it's never always going to be bad. You need to embrace the ups and also the downs. What ice therapy, cold water therapy allows me to do is put things into perspective. When something's going really, really bad, I ask myself, is it as cold as that bloody ice bath? It's not. Is it as bad as that ice bath? It's not. So I've completed that ice bath, I can complete this. And it allows me to slightly put obstacles and challenges in a different position, because I'm doing things like the training and the ice bath in the morning. It just allows me to overcome challenges a lot more easier. My message to anyone that wants to do cold water therapy, knows they should be doing cold water therapy, who's been afraid of doing cold water therapy, go and do it. Just step into it, because the more you fear it, the more it's going to conquer you. Just get into it. You're not going to die. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. So what? It's only going to last 30 to 60 seconds. The benefits you will get, the feel-good factor, and the empowerment that you'll get off the back end of it is incredible. It's like a drug. But in actual fact, it's really, really good for you, mentally and also physically. What the future holds for Steven Sulley, I've got a mantra, a saying, which is be happy, never content. And the never content part is venturing out into new aspects and new elements of your life. And I think that's really living. So that's what the future holds for me, is going into new territory and being a little bit afraid, having setbacks, having knocks and bumps, but also having a lot of fulfillment and joy because you're trying something out.